Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Thursday, the 25th of January. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. If you stayed up, well done. It's ended up being much later than I was hoping. I've been at it for hours, so hopefully it's worth it because, I've put in a shift to get to where we've got to. It was quite a lot of the jumps races where I ended up just sort of going down a few rabbit holes and searching a few things out and going into things in a few detail. It tends to be the way, like for the jumps and stuff. If you find a couple of races like that, it just not so much on the all weather. It's a slightly different read in terms of some of the things I'd look at. Less likely to go off on a tangent and start looking at all sorts of other things. Anyway, long ramble. Let's not worry about that. We've got for Thursday, well, not quite there. Thursday, 22.50, so just a smidgen above a full day stake. We're getting a lot more involved, as opposed to the last couple of days where we've had just under a half day stake with one bet. We've got 22.50, three bets. There is a Yankee, a Canadian, and a combination double with the two good handicaps at Gowran Park. So that is my offering. So we'll go through the review quick, do the bets, mention the golf, and then we've got tips the league. And try and leave out anything else because it's late and you don't want to hear it every day, and I want to go to bed before the sun comes up. All right, so as far as Wednesday went, we had 9 on, 264 back, so it wasn't very good. That pulled up. The ground looked a fair bit heavy out there at Fairy House. I think only half the field finished. Then we had the Lingfield horse, Forever Proud, did us reasonably proud. So little Rule 4 on that. I think it was 15p Rule 4, but was placed. And then Kempton wasn't great. We had two sixth place finishes there, so not close enough. Interesting on that Ortard Prince that I mentioned last night, 66s. When the video uploaded, 40 was the best price, and I think it went off at something like, it was about 9-1. Just silly price. It's funny when some of these things get runs on them, and then it wasn't a 9-1 horse. It was about 16s, 18s, I think. 20s I would have considered back in it. But it just went too short. But it didn't run brilliant or terrible. But there we go. But two sixth places, and that one got pulled out before the start of the race from Veterinary Rice. So we had a non-runner there. We've got place single Forever Proud, and then a place tiny bit back because it was a non-runner and a place on the Canadian. So as far as the week goes, I think that puts us pretty much back to square one. I think we're minus £1.30 or something, and then for the year, we're about minus £6, something like that. So we started the year down there, and then we went up there, and now we've gone back down, and now we're just below the level. That's roughly how I would see it. Okay. Bear in mind, our last video from the usual studio. Next broadcast from me will be Friday morning in Dublin somewhere, ahead of the channel meetup at Dundalk on Friday. Note on that one, actually, first race is now 4 o'clock. 4 o'clock is the first race at Dundalk on Friday. Last race is 7:30, so 4 till 7:30. I know at least one channel regular has got one of their horses running at the meeting and will be there. So I'm sure the whole channel family should be cheering on Des's horse when we get there. Okay, let's go through this. So basically, I had 3 horses at Southwell, 3 horses at Huntingdon, and 3 races at Gowran Park that I liked. And so usually, as you know, I like to put them together, but 3, 3 and 3, unless I'm doing 3 trixies, which is what I'm going to do, it's not going to quite work. So I've had to work out which of the 4 to put in the Yankee versus the 5 in the Canadian. So I'm putting the more likeliest, if that was a real thing, in the Yankee and the others in the Canadian. So 11.55 Southwell, Basholo, 9s. 105 Gowran Park, Star Official, 12s. 135 Southwell, Tom Tulliver at 33s, and the 355 at Southwell, MJK 16 to 1. So 3 Southwell, 1 Gowran Park, 20p each way Yankee, 50p win singles on the first two. So we are starting early, that 11.55. So Basholo, Star Official, 50p win singles. The bottom two, 50p each way singles, and a 20p each way double on them. 7-8 years the bet. Sky have come out best for this, 365 second best. And then third best, Hills, 888, Unibet and Boyle Sports are joint third best, and below that is Betfred, Betway and Paddy. And some of this comes from the Paddy are particularly bad here. So Paddy and Betfair are only 3 places on this 355 Southwell. Sky are 5, a lot of bookies are 4. That's changed a few things, and I think it's the 1155 Southwell where there's quite a few bookies 4, but not Paddy. So that's 780. So the combo double. Gowran Park, my slightly preferred selections that are shorter with the risky pair. So 105 Gowran Park, Gowran Park, depends on which way the wind blows for me. Star Official, 12 to 1, at least I get it right 50% of the time. Star Official 12s, and then Dare to Day 66 to 1. It's got previous in the race, it just needs to bounce back, and on the basis of its previous run, if that's all, as in that race, if that's all you looked at, I think you could argue that price is too high, but there's a few other bits and bobs in there. So yeah, that's the 2, and then the 250 Stormy Judge is my slight preference, and it's a short price. And then On the Ropes again is a potential for a bounce back on that one. Sean O'Keefe gets on well with that horse, and again there's a little bit of previous going on there. So 4 times 25p each way doubles, that bit's £2. So all 4 horses, combination double, and then 50p each way singles on Dead a Day and On the Ropes. £4 is the bet. Sky best because there's 6 on both. Paddy is 6 on one and 5 on the other, but you'll get bog, and then Hills and 888 are 6 on the other and 5 on the other, and you won't get bog. Everybody else is pretty much 5 and 5. So bet 2, that is what we've got. For the channel, it will be what will be doing the channel probably 5 and 5 on those. Okay, and the last one, this is the jumps one. So bear in mind, there's no Newcastle bets. I didn't like Newcastle, nothing at Wetherby either, but no Newcastle, which people would normally expect me to look at. Did look at it, didn't like it. Went for a while, but nothing came out. 125 Huntingdon. I've had a right good look at this one. So it's a novice hurdle qualifier. So you get, there's some horses in there that are just in theory there to make up the numbers and get their third run, and this horse does fall under that it's getting its third run to qualify thing. But if they finish in the top 4, they do qualify for the end of season novice hurdle final. And yeah, Don Orchetti. So you've got a short price favourite that should be the favourite. There's another horse that's got quite a bit of experience in the book, which I would make second favourite. And then beyond them, I don't think there's much in them in terms of what I can read from the form. And on that basis, Don Orchetti for me is overpriced. It's gone in as the Skelton second string. Fergus Gillard is booked to ride it. But from what it's done and the trajectory of it, and the fact that the ground is better at Huntingdon, just think there's quite a bit of mileage in 80 to 1. It's one of them ones. It's probably a 4th to 6th kind of play horse, but I wouldn't rule it out for a sneaky frame. So Don Orchetti, we've gone in at 80s. Then 235 GM's Prince at 18s, 250 Gowran Park Stormy Judge at 10s. 345 Huntingdon, we've got previous there. That is also a qualifier. There's some interesting races at Huntingdon. So that is a Pertemps qualifier. Risk and Roll, we backed it at a massive price. It drifted something like 125s at Cheltenham last year in the Pertemps final. It didn't run a bad race. Definitely outran its odds, but didn't quite frame for us. It ran in this same corresponding race last year and was mid-pack. but then still went on to qualify. Was still qualified for the Pertemps from a different race. And then the previous year it won this race, but they didn't actually put it in the Pertemps. So just to be clear, there's certain races where you qualify. So it used to be with these ones, Pertemps qualify, you used to have to finish in the top 6. Now you have to finish in the top 4. So if they're thinking that horse might sneak in a Cheltenham run, they're going to need to get it in the top 4. And so, yeah, this isn't the kind of race where if a horse is sort of fading, they're not going to try. So horses will be trying for 4th place, and I think on balance that's the right one. The other one in there that's interesting, I think, is Itchy Feet, shorter price, but it's already qualified. It doesn't need. I mean, there's pride at stake there, but it's already qualified for the Pertemps. So, I think Risk and Roll at the prices was the right one. And then 4 o'clock at Gowran Park, the outsider in the race. Potential to go well in the mud, a bit inconsistent profile, but Action Motion I think is worth the 18s. 10p each way Canadian, £1 each way single on Don on Chetty, 50p each way singles on GM's Prince, Risk and Roll and Action Motion, and then a 50p win single on Stormy Judge at 10s. 10.70 is the bet. I mean, I've gone shapes tonight. Look, squares, circles, triangles. Hopefully it's clear enough. But 10.70 is the bet. Sky come out best. Hills and 888 are second best. And then Joint 4th best are 365 and Paddy. That is bet 3. Okay, that's those. Quick word on the golf was we didn't start very well in the two golfers in the US. I think one was 1 under par and one was 1 over par, but they were quite far back, so that's not looking the greatest start in the world. And then the tournament on the European Tour starts in the early hours. I think Lee Hao Tong's out something like 3 o'clock in the morning, and then the other two follow at a bit more reasonable breakfastish time. So we'll see if we get any better progress there. And then Tips the League. So what can I tell you about Tips the League? 58 entries, so a drop of entries, 34% made profit, which is good, and only 53% lost everything, which is better than it's been. 3rd week in a row where if you'd followed all of the combined selections blindly to level stakes, you would have been slightly ahead. That has been the case all 3 weeks so far in 2024. It was not the case for a lot of 2023. So overall, last week, we had 20 people make profit, but nobody stole it with a big one. So Patrick Langford, well done, 43.40. You came out on top for last week. H. Morgan, 39.20 was second. Dominic Carver put in another good shift. I think that's the 2nd week in a row. He's got in the top 10, 32.20. Mark Dash for the 2nd week in the row is tied 4th. With 28 this week with Mick Fenn on 28, and then we go down to Chris Green 6th, Adam Essat 7th, Shane Loader 8th, Ian Burrows 9th, and Justin Peachy was 10th for the week 3 of Tips League. What does that do to the overall leaderboard? Only one new entry. Dominic Carver's the only new person into the top 10. There's a few people that won a bit of profit, but actually moved down the leaderboard. So it was a bit of shuffly McShufflesons. But on the basis that Des played and lost his 10 and Shosman kept his powder dry, Shosman has now moved himself up into number 1 spot with 320. Des Gibbons on 313.40, so they are clearly still up there from the JJ Riley week before. Scott Harvey still 3rd, 96.80, and then we go Mark Dash, Adam Essat. And then it all gets a bit congested. Mike Fletcher, Nicholas Hambley, Dominic Carver, John P, 3,500, and Stephen Taylor. But the 10th placed player, Stephen Taylor, has got a much bigger amount than the 10th place from the previous week. So certainly the leaderboard has shifted forward, even if the top of it hasn't really done much in the last 7 days. That is that. All right. So Dublin Friday morning video will be out. It will be a quick one. So any vids I'm out while I'm out over in Dublin and Ireland generally will be quick ones. Because yes, I know, and there won't be Sharpies and papers, and some will be relieved and some will be sad and they'll miss them and they'll have to wait till next week. So yeah, kind of penultimate reminder that channel meetup, 4 till 7:30. The Dundalk meeting's on. Be there, be square. Flights booked, hotels booked, tickets are sorted. Got myself some transport. Some of that stuff is from people being very kind. So thank you for everyone who's reached out and offered me something. Like, don't think I'm a charity case, but I think people are just being kind. So thank you very much. I shall be at the races Friday night. And I think that's it. We'll leave it there, and I will see you Friday morning broadcasting from the Republic of Ireland. See you there. Thank you very much. Bye bye.